seems to get better than worse for some reason. Am I starting? Okay. Hello everybody and welcome to the Yas Marina Circuit here for the final round of the Renault Clio Cup Middle East here. It's been a very exciting couple of race weekends and I can't believe it's already the finale. We've had 3 race weekends back to back and the intensity of the action here has gotten bigger every weekend. I mean, we saw some impressive action last time out at the Dubai Autodrome, but here at the Yas Marina Circuit, it is the grand finale. Who will it be that take the crown? Well, it's looking like Jerzy Spinkiewicz will be walking away with the overall victory at the end of the season, but for second place, we've got a magnificent fight on our hands here between some very talented young drivers. Of course, we do have the live stream that is currently underway. Thank you so much for watching at home. I'm going to pass it now up to Phil in the broadcast booth, who will talk you through the qualifying lineup here, or better yet, the grid lineup here, because we are on the way for the formation lap and we're about to go racing here for the first time this weekend.
Thank you very much, Chris Melbourne, down there at the podium, and in about 25 laps and 25 minutes and 1 lap's time, we're going to be seeing some of these drivers on the podium. Let's go through the grid now. We have 15 cars taking place. It's Jerzy Spinkiewicz on pole position. In second place, it's Stanislav Novikov. In third position on the grid, it's Chen Han Lin. Fourth position is Yanis Manhur. In fifth position, it's Kevin Day. Jay Ko is in 6th, Rahil Taneja in 7th, Alex Renner in 8th, Ahmed Al-Malahi in 9th, Charlie Simmons in 10th position, Ilya Sidorov in 11th, James Greenwood in 12th, Chan Wei Lin in 13th, Willie Morrison in 14th, and Vasily Vladkin in 15th position as the cars now making their way down onto the grid. We're on the full Grand Prix circuit, 5.28 kilometres, 16 corners, and it's going to be a battle, as Chris said in the opening. It is a titanic battle. This is round 5, race 1. Race 2 comes your way tomorrow as all the cars now, the final car pulling into position on the start-finish line. We're waiting for the lights now. It's a standing start for the Clio Cups. You can see the grid up on the screen as we get the green flag. 2 lights on, 3 lights on, 4 lights on, 5 lights on as we wait for the go out, and we are racing. Everybody gets away well. One of the white car further back just had a bit of a slow start as they head on down to turn 1 for the first time. These 1.3 litre turbocharged Clios have titanic battles all the way through the field as we see some of the back markers. We've got Willie Morrison down the back. He's a previous champion in Clio Cup in the local series as one of the cars way off the circuit there. I'll just try and pick that number up. As we make our way now around turn 3, turn 4, track limits come into play there as we're making our way down to the first of the hard braking zones down into turn 5. Jerzy Spinkiewicz leading the way from Stanislav Novikov, and then it's Chen Han Lin in 3rd position, Yanis Manhur in 1st, 4th position Kevin Day in 5th as they make their way down the long back straight in a Clio Cup car and down towards the braking zone. And turn 6-7 chicane, battle for the lead on. Spinkiewicz, Novikov and Lin all battling it over as they come through the first of the chicane into the second part of the chicane. Turn number 7, and now another long straight before we get into the 180-degree turn number 9. Line astern at the moment, a couple of gaps starting to appear as we move into sector 3 of the circuit. And Chris, you've been watching this for the last 4 rounds. This has been dynamic racing.
It has. It's been absolutely stellar throughout. I know last time out we were here, we had a bit of an incident on the first lap, and that could have continued on because we did have the rain, which really threw the dice there in the mix. And I think it looks like Kevin Day is already up alongside Ahmed Al-Malahi. Now, these are 2 gentlemen drivers here, both battling out for position in class. And, of course, championship points on offer here. This is the last race weekend of a very competitive Clio Cup Middle East series. And big lockups there going.
Charlie Simmons locking up in the EBC car.
Yeah, it seems the entire of the backfield there, but look how competitive we are already. We're on the first lap here, of course. And we've got a couple of drivers that have started to do it further back than we would have thought them to. Will Morrison there, a former champion. He is way down the end there, way towards the tail end of the field there. It looks like he's right towards, now that is down in 14th position.
14th
like
position,
he's
yeah.
up position there on the opening lap. But Jerzy Spinkiewicz is the first driver to come across the line, followed by Chen Han Lin, his teammate.
He's moved up in second now.
From his unique racing counterpart. Now, Jerzy Spinkiewicz is the class of his here. So far, time picking up Alex first time this season. He was the only gentleman driver actually appear on the overall podium.
Wow.
The Auto Drive was part of the 24-hour race that we had last week. And Kevin Day.
Ahmed moved up 3 positions from the start, already attacking.
A good start there from the only Emirati driver in the field. Got side by side there through turn 6. And that's not exactly where you want to be doing now, but it looks like it's nice to clean there through so far.
Charlie's a little bit further. That's, yes, it is. Willie Morrison up behind them, now starting to close in on that back, the back of, I think that was Joe Coe, if I'm not mistaken. The ARM car out there, I know that one. That's Alex Renner. And once again, as you said, on the podium outright, and he's a gentleman driver.
He really did show true pace. I mean, he's done a few races here and there in the Pro Car Series as well, so he's really got to learn the tracks more than a few other drivers.
Spinkiewicz and Lin. Then 2.2 seconds back to Vladikin in third position. Still second in the gentleman category, which is where he would prefer to be first. He's got a little bit of 2.3 seconds behind Ahmed Al-Malahi, who is currently leading the gentleman category.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate for Alex Renner, as even despite winning twice in the category, unfortunately with not the best finishes overall this season, he's a bit further back than you'd assume him to be. But again, we can't take away what he's done this season so far from the very get-go. He has massively improved. As we said before, he was the first gentleman driver to appear on the overall podium, which again is no easy feat. As we still see Yashish Manohar is keeping Stanislav Novikov at bay. Now, Novikov is one of 3 drivers that are solely participating in the overall category because of his talent, and Yashish is defending, as he did a couple of weeks ago, as he did last week as well, is defending with every bit of that car. He's managed to make that Clio as wide as a Renault truck.
I was going to say Volvo, but you got the Renault there. Yes, indeed. Just looking at their lap times, they're both in the 2:18.6. Well, Novikov's in the 2:18.7s. Manohar's in the 2:18.6s. They're actually lapping quicker than the leader at the moment because of this battle that they're having. And then Chen Han Lin just has done his fastest lap of the race at 2:18.403, 8 seconds behind Spinkiewicz, the current race leader. And we have around 6 minutes to go in the first of 2 races for the Clio Cup Middle East this weekend to round out their season.
It's certainly a good one as well. I mean, they've kept it relatively clean as well. We haven't seen too much contact happening here and there. We've seen a couple of lockups, and of course
it's Clio racing. There's supposed to be contact, isn't it?
Well, that's true. We haven't seen much of it here this weekend. I could say that it's going to start happening, isn't it? But of course, Jerzy Spinkiewicz has said hi to the wall a number of times.
Yes.
And his wing mirror has paid the price for that. It's still holding on for dear life. As again, here's that battle between Yashish Manohar and Stanislav Novikov, because Vladikin is a bit further up the road at the moment. Yashish really defending, and it's absolutely great to see him do this, but I can imagine Novikov is getting a bit more frustrated every time he just cannot find a way through. He sees an opportunity, but then immediately racing for pole position shuts the door on him, and he has to try again. He has to bide his time. I think he's going to try and do something down towards either turn 9 or turn 5, which is a matter of when he does it within the next 5 minutes plus 1 lap.
Looking at the battles going on the back straight at the moment, up past the support paddock, nose to tail, not giving any room there. There's 2 lines around here now, Chris. You can take the V line and sort of do a pointed corner, or you can roll it through. And it looks like they're protecting so well. Manohar is just really, really... Well, sim racing must give you don't have anybody else in the room with you when you're sim racing. So he's really developed his skills so well in this series.
Now, I've just noticed that Yashish has decided to turn his indicator on. Is that some sort of tactic?
Is he going to pit?
Is this to throw Stanislav off somewhere? Now, this is very reminiscent from 2 weeks back when we saw a fantastic battle between Chen Han Lin and Yashish Manohar.
Yep.
We saw this exactly happen through turn 9 as well, and through turn 5. And again, you saw Stanislav get very, very close. He's trying to make, force an error out of Yashish, which hasn't been easy. And again, Novikov is just constantly hounding him, looking for that advantage, but he just cannot find. And it seems to be Yashish has decided to turn that indicator off and thought, no, that's not working. I'll let it be. Novikov can find another way around me.
Oh dear. 0.3 of a second as they cross the stripe that time. Just the difference between our 4th and 5th. That's the battle happening out on the circuit at the moment. Just keeping an idea of Charlie Simmons is just closing in on the back of Rahul Taneja down there in for 9th and 10th at the moment. Just lapping almost half a second quicker on that last lap with Simmons over Taneja. So she's on the move now. As you said, Chris, quite rightly, towards the end of the race, it's going to happen. I just saw a big lock-up down there from one of that battle going on. I think it may have cost Novikov a little bit of time at turn 5, with just on 3 minutes remaining.
That's right now. Again, Novikov will try and find a way down through turn 6 on the inside. I don't think he's close enough to make a move. He's going to be very brave and very late on the brakes. Decides to tuck in, but does break into the Yashish as they work through that complex. But again, no way through there for Novikov whatsoever, as Manohar keeps that position at bay. He's scoring them points that he needs, but again, he's losing valuable time to both Vladikin and his championship rival of Chen Han-Lin. And with him scoring in 3rd position, it may be all over for the Indian driver for the overall top step of the podium in the challenger category, because of course for 3rd place you only get 15 points here, 18 for 2nd, 25 for the race victory. There are no bonus points for qualifying or fastest lap of the race here, and it looks to be that Vasi Vladikin here with 124 points. Okay, he's an outside chance, a very outside chance for 2nd place. Actually, no, he's not, because he's actually 51 points adrift. So it looks like Yashish, no matter what, will be 2nd, but he needs something to happen to Chen Han-Lin. But that unique racing car is it's on rails.
Yeah.
Not just Jerzy Spinkiewicz's car, but it seems to be that sister car as well of Chen Han-Lin is also the same. They've got that set up to a T, and I can imagine with Jerzy Spinkiewicz's times that continuously get faster and faster, and how he puts his gap even on his teammate. The team must be adapting the rest of the unique racing cars to match Jerzy Spinkiewicz's car, because we've seen Chen Han-Lin also improve as the season has progressed here as well.
Good battle going on further down the field between it's Sidorov and Greenwood, just 0.7 of a second separating 12th from 13th at the moment. I just had a look at James Greenwood closing up on the back. Greenwood, and Kevin Day's just 4 seconds behind that battle. Obviously, something happened to him, as you said, Chris, earlier on in the race to drop him that far down. We'll go and have a look at his car to see if there's any bits that might show some colour for some other things. We've got 1 minute to go. Our leader is on the back straight at the moment, heading down towards turn 6. The clock may well tick over before he gets to the line. We will have, if that happens, we'll have 1 lap remaining.
So it looks like we have another victim of the right-hand wing mirror. Sidorov's right-hand mirror has decided it doesn't move apart the car either, just slightly dangling off there. So looks like they've gone a bit too close to what they would like to be. He just saw lurking in the background there was Kevin Day, as on the inside there of Taneja looked Charlotte Simmons going through turn 5, and that is James Greenwood on the inside of Sidorov.
Yep, that gap was at 0.4 of a second before. Great move from Greenwood there. The other battle going out, Willie Morrison's almost caught Charlotte Simmons as well. That's under a second now. He's only got about a lap and a half to do anything about it.
Now, I do wonder then if that's Rahul Taneja who's had a bit of an issue, because it did look like Charlotte Simmons was a lot closer, more than 2.8 seconds, and there is Simmons and Will Morrison through turn 6 and 7.
Well defended from Charlie Simmons.
Certainly, when you've got a champion behind you, there's no easy feat, that's for sure. Here's that battle again, Manohar and Novikov. Novikov still not able to find a way through. So with 2 wheels there through turn 6, that is not out of the ordinary in the Clio Cup Middle East.
Exactly, the battle going underneath the hotel now as the clock has ticked over, as we're getting ready to start the last lap very, very shortly, with our race leader going through now. The 1:25 as he gets underway on his final lap. We will have completed 12 laps at the end of this race, as 2nd place. Chen Han-Lin comes through around 11 seconds behind. Vladikin is just a little bit behind that, 1.2 seconds. The gap just 0.4 of a second. As this battle's going to go down to the wire, I think, Chris. Manohar and Novikov.
100%. And now that Novikov's seen that yellow board that says last lap,
oh dear,
it's just there. He knows that he has to attack. He has to choose his opportunities right, though, because he's going to have to do it either through turn 5 or turn 6. I mean, we saw a very brave move through turn 4 happen, but I think turn 5, turn 6, and turn 9 is one of the 3 points that's going to happen. So I'm going to keep a close eye now on the timing screen to see if that is the case, because they're rolling their way through turn 5 now. Which is leave Novikov dives to the inside brakes as late as he can to find a way past Yashish, but it looks like he hasn't done it so far, so that they're on the back straight now. Let's see who comes through first. Will it be pole position, or will it be the Continental Racing number 10? It does seem to be that Mano Harris decided to stay out just a bit more in comparison, going down towards that corner for the time being. But again, late on the brakes will be Novikov as Morrison all over the back of Charlotte Simmons once again.
Dave won't be happy about that. As they head on down the back straight, Willie Morrison's probably only got 2 more chances to do anything about it, keeping an eye on that battle, heading on the second part of the back straight around the support paddock. Is heading down towards turn 9. There's not many overtaking opportunities left for Novikov. Will he get frustrated? 10-second penalty for 5-second penalty for car number 10.
Well, that makes things very interesting for Yashish Manohar.
Yes, it does.
Because if Novikov finds a way through, he will still take that position back, and it seems to be Novikov has fallen back. So he's tried to lunge somewhere, and it hasn't paid off. So unfortunately for Novikov, he has dropped back. And how close is Jay Cow to him? It was 8.5 seconds at the line. Big lock up there, just through turn 12 for Novikov.
Wow. So that penalty coming, and there's our race leader heading across the line. The number 125, Jerzy Spinkiewicz takes the win in race 1 of round 5 of the Clio Cup Middle East. And second across the line, Chen Hanlin. Unique Racing taking 1-2. Vasily Vladikin taking 3rd place. And then Yanis Manhur takes it from Novikov. Novikov with that penalty. We've got to keep an eye on that gap back to KO, because if that's less than 5 seconds, I think he'll be okay. 7 seconds is the gap. He just gets that one done. We'll put that down. Alex Renner. Ahmed Al-Malahi finishes on the top step of the podium in the gentleman category, followed by Alex Renner, 8th overall, and then 3rd in the gentleman category, Rahil Taneja. We've seen that podium many times this year. Charlie Simmons finishes in front of Willie Morrison, 10th and 11th overall. And Willie just gives her a flash and says, that's a very good race, young girl. James Greenwood in 12th position. Kevin Day makes it on the last lap up into 13th position. Then Ilya Sidorov in 14th. And we're just waiting for the last car to come through now. And that is Chanwei Lin, who take the checkered flag and finish in 15th, racing the 3rd of the unique racing cars, or 4th of the unique racing cars, and that's how they wrap it up. Chris, I'll let you head on down to the podium area.
Just before I go, did you see the gap there between Alex Renner and Ahmed Al-Malahi at the line? You didn't catch that. 8/10 of a second.
That was close. Well,
one more lap there for Renner, and I think that might have been succession of
he was a second quicker on that last lap as well. That was a dynamic, absolutely dynamic lap by Alex Renner. He almost got there. But great racing once again from the Clio Cup Middle East as the cars make their way back to the podium. Great battles there from Novikov, Manohar, Charles Simmons and Willie Morrison having a great battle towards the end of the race. Kevin Day, we're going to have a chat with him what happened. He was running quite well earlier on, but started in 5th position, dropped to the tail of the field by about lap 2, and then had to do a fairly big recovery drive, but he moved himself up 6th in the gentleman category, 13th Park up under the podium here at the Yas Marina Circuit. Great racing always from the Clio Cup cars. Been a real success story this season with a lot of local drivers and overseas drivers getting ready for their season 2023. These 1.3 litre turbocharged Clio Cups. Purpose-built race cars, never been a road car. We finished 12 laps in that 25 minutes and 1 lap race. And it was that 5-second penalty late in the piece for car number 10, Stanislav Novikov. Didn't affect the positions. He still had a 7-second gap over Jay Cowell. A couple of cars doing their quickest laps on the last lap of the race. James Greenwood did his at 2:20.323. Alex Renner said he wanted to get into the 19s. Well, he did that. He got into the 18s at 2:18.960 for the ARM-sponsored car. As all the drivers having a little bit of a chat with each other about how they got on. And it's always the way at the end of the race. Bit of a chat before they make their way up to the podium. Formula One podium in use this weekend for the Clio Cup. Let's have a look at the highlights of race number 1, round 5 of the Clio Cup Middle East. It was a great start from our Jerzy Spinkiewicz off pole position. There's Willie Morrison. He had to start right down the back of the field, down in 14th place, as we had a pretty clean opening lap. Then the battle started to show pretty quickly of who wanted to be where. Kevin Day having a moment out there, and he dropped to the back end of the field, had to start making his way around and trying to sort themselves out. But the battle there between Novikov and Manahar just continued for the entire race from about lap 7 or 8. Line astern through the chicane down at turn 6 and 7. Fantastic racing from all of our competitors. And the battle continued on. And that was the 28 of Charlotte Simmons having a big lock up there. Battle with Willie Morrison. And then the checkered flag came out. And it was Jerzy Spinkiewicz taking the win in race number 1, round 5. So Chen Han Lin finishing second and Vasily Vladikin finishing in 3rd position. Let's head down to the grid, let's head down to the Parc Ferme area, and Chris Milburn is down there.
Check, check, 1, 2. Check, check. I can't hear. Sure, we're just waiting for the drivers to arrive. Unless you want to do a, do you want to do a wrap at the end here? One here for the Renault Clio Middle East Cup, or better yet, let's call it the Clio Cup Middle East, because that's the actual name for it here. Fantastic racing, especially some fantastic defense there, sort of mid-pack there. So we're really anticipating race number 2. It's relatively incident-free, apart from a couple of wing mirrors on 2 cars that we picked on. But of course, Jerzy Spinkiewicz there leading the field as he's done throughout the season so far, and a fantastic performance from the Polish driver. No doubt we'll see him shortly on the podium. But it's been a phenomenal race. We're just waiting now for the drivers to make their way here so we can do the podium presentation. Just bear with us just for a couple of minutes here. So we're just waiting for them because, of course, 25 minutes plus an extra lap. It is cool outside here, but it is still a little warm, especially behind this wheel here of these Clios. So do bear with us. We'll have 3 podiums in total, 1 for overall, 1 for the gentleman driver, and of course 1 for the challenger category as well. And of course, with this race completed, it seems to be some of the championship may already been locked up in at least, I think actually both of the categories already. But again, we'll have a look at what it looks like through race 2. Remember, race 2 is starting tomorrow here at about 20 past 2 at local time. So if you're interested in watching more action for the Renault Clio Cups here, you can see it right here. So let's just take a step back. I think we're still not ready for the drivers yet. They're just getting a bit of a cool down here. Just getting the results prepared here as well. So I guess we can just enjoy the weather, you know. Well, we can do that tomorrow. It's a bit cool here today, but fantastic action as always. It's a real shame actually that the Clios are ending this weekend. I know it's been quite hectic, 3 race weekends back to back, and obviously a lot of them preparing for seasons to race over the world. And of course now, why don't we check out some highlights now from race 1 for Clio Cup Middle East.
We're just waiting for all of the drivers to get ready, and what we just saw on screen there was a bit of a teaser of what's coming up tomorrow, which is the hand-cooked 6 hours of Abu Dhabi. We've got, this will be the 3rd edition. We've got around 25 cars it's going to take to the track at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Before that, we're going to have the 3-part qualifying. Don't forget. And we are ready to go down to the podium, and here is Chris Milbourne with the podium ceremonies.
Category to Vasily Vladikin.